I found a church community that works for me, where I feel supported and loved and accepted. And it's just acceptance and love, and it's just pure, and you feel that when you're there.
God knocked me off my horse. God literally called me and said, okay, now I need you.
God is here right now. He's in the midst of our pain and our struggle right now. I want you to put your hands up.
So that's what we have coming up next. I just wanted to show y'all our new trailer. I have a new channel. It's going to be more obviously like high-end production type of situation, and less live streams, but I really wanted to separate that type of video. So we have a new video coming out tomorrow. I did want to plug that here because I worked really hard on it and I want y'all to watch it. Okay. So now the moment you came here for. There is a new filing in Britney's case, and I promised y'all that I will keep up with this case, and I do intend to keep up with this case. So, as most of you know, I have been working very hard on the BAM Margera conservatorship racket. We have found things that are just as disturbing, if not worse, than Britney's case and the BAM case, and we will be talking about that as we go. But that's not what we're here for today. We are here today for... Let me pull it up. This. We're here for this today. So let me make this bigger and we'll just jump right into what's going on in Britney's case. So if you are watching this video live, or if you're watching on the day that the video is posted, then you should know that there is a hearing on this particular issue today. I don't know what time it is going to happen, but it's only 10 a.m. Eastern time now. So it's definitely hasn't happened yet because it's happening on the West Coast, which is 3 hours behind. But the hearing on this issue is today, as you can see, April 6th, 2022. Oh, I got my pandas on backwards. Oh, hold on. Let me fix my... Y'all got to keep me right here. Oh, man. It's like probably like a dry shampoo day. Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay, got my pandas on. Here y'all go. Thank you very much. Okay. So this hearing on this issue will happen today. Now, I think based on the probate notes and based on information that I've read, like public information, whatever, I think that this is probably going to be denied. I think Britney's objections are going to be upheld. I do not think that Lynn's lawyers are going to get paid, but what do I know? I mean, we will see today at the hearing what happens. I'm not going for that, obviously. But the hearing for this is set April 6th. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what Judge Penny says. But right now, what we're reading is a document that was filed as of yesterday at 9:30 in the morning. And as you can see from the title, it is Britney Spears' objections to Lynn's petition for payment of her attorney's fees. So let's see what it says. I have not read this document. It's about 10 pages long. In their November 1st, 2021 petition, Lynn Spears and her lawyers sought payment of legal fees and costs from Britney Spears of more than $660,000. Britney opposes the petition in its entirety for the following reasons, including that it, as an overriding matter, she should not have been thrust into this dispute. Okay, so it sounds like Matt and Britney are about to say Lynn should have never even gotten involved. So let's see what Britney says. First, and most fundamentally, so this is their biggest, strongest, baddest argument, is that there is no legal authority supporting the petition, so they can't point to any law that says, yeah, this is cool, like Lynn's lawyers should get paid for this. As the court's probate notes provide, which we have read on this channel, Lynn has not, and her lawyers have not established any authority for the payment of attorney's fees for third parties. And moreover, this common fund doctrine set forth in the petition does not apply because all funds belong to the former conservatee, Britney. So he's saying this is all Britney's money. The court really doesn't even have jurisdiction to say what Britney has to and doesn't have to pay at this point. On top of the fact that there's really no legal authority supporting why Gladstone Jones and Yasha Bronstein deserve any money. Second argument that Britney and Matthew are making. Britney has for decades been her family's sole breadwinner, supporting her entire family. By way of illustration only, her dad, Jamie Spears, who had a long history of financial mismanagement prior to this conservatorship, including tax liens, mortgage defaults, failed business ventures, and a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, he enriched himself as conservator, receiving more than $6 million from Britney's estate in compensation, fees and commissions, and he profited handsomely from Britney's very hard work. Even though he was a fiduciary, not her legal management or talent representative. Indeed, Jamie's financial condition was so dire in 2008 that he had to borrow at least 40 grand from TriStar Sports and Entertainment shortly before he hired TriStar to serve as Britney's manager. He then placed Britney into the conservatorship and then promptly sent her on a lengthy and grueling 97-show international tour and onto other work from which he has obtained millions of dollars. He also paid his many and other lawyers. I think it's supposed to say he also paid his many other lawyers lavishly, paying them millions from Britney's estate. Okay, hold on. For her part, so for Lynn's part, and while she and James are most certainly not in pari delicto, what does that mean? I don't know. Hold on, let me look that up. I'm gonna look that up. It's some type of legal like terminology. I just want to know what it means so I can explain it to y'all. In pari, it's probably like working in concert or something. The legal term pari delicto is most commonly used in situations when both parties in a civil lawsuit are at fault or in wrongdoing. Basically means that because both parties are equally to blame, the court will side with neither party. So I really don't know why that would have been like, that doesn't really fit for me, but whatever. Okay. It warrants noting that Lynn has for at least a decade resided in a large, expensive house owned by Britney Spears in Kentwood, for which her daughter has also continuously and generously paid Lynn Spears utilities, phone service, insurance, property tax, landscaping, pool work, pest control, repairs, and maintenance, totaling approximately $1.7 million. For these reasons and others, in addition to fundamental principles of law, the equities also overwhelmingly favor Britney Spears. Third reason, even if there were some cognizable legal basis for the petition, and there is not, the petition is nonetheless deficient for its failure to provide the information and specificity required by the rules of court for even legally authorized petitions. This is not an issue the court need even address, however, given lack the legal authority of the relief sought. So basically, this is like the third, like less powerful reason. So he's now given three separate reasons, right? The first reason why it should be denied is that there's no legal authority. They can't point to a place where the court has actually done this ever before in the past. So they're saying they shouldn't do this today. The second reason is it's just not fair. Britney's already given these people enough money, and she's always been the sole breadwinner. And then the third reason is even if you did have a basis for it, their petition itself doesn't have enough details to support itself. So the petition itself is faulty and it needs to go. So for all three of those reasons, maybe each one standing alone, maybe all of them acting together, the petition should be denied. And again, y'all, I'm not getting like too worked up over this whole thing because I do think the petition will be denied. So in short, the petition cites no authority at all to support the conclusion that a conservatorship estate can be held financially responsible for the attorney's fees of a third party like Lynn is or like Yasha is here or Gladstone Jones. That is because the law does not condone the shift of financial liability proposed by the petition. Okay, so why? What is their underlying reasoning here? It's because the law doesn't actually allow shifting financial liability on like onto all these extra people. Like, the law just doesn't allow that. Now, common sense shouldn't allow it either, because what's to stop me from getting involved in Britney's case and asking, oh, girl, I need lawyer's fees now, right? Like, when someone doesn't ask you to get involved, but you got involved and you spent money, then, the law would not cover your attorney's fees, and common sense would say that it wouldn't even be fair for them to be covered. That's their argument here. While Lynn had the right to hire and pay for her own lawyer from her own money, this is an issue between Lynn and her lawyers. There is no legal basis for placing Britney Spears in the middle of it. Now, this is the main, I agree with this. I don't know. I forgot my little coding system, but I agree with this. Again, respectfully, as a matter of law, Lynn and her lawyers are simply not within the category of persons, people, entities, whatever, who can petition to have their legal fee obligations shifted onto a conservatee or a former conservatee. The undersigned means no disrespect to petitioner or her counsel, but opposes the petition pursuant to instructions and applicable law. Okay, so pursuant to instructions means Britney, this is what Matthew Rosengart is saying, that Britney instructed him to oppose this. So he's saying, look, don't take it out on me. I'm not trying to disrespect you or anything, but based on the law and based on the instructions from my client, I have to oppose these fees. For these reasons and those set forth below and on the record, Britney Spears respectfully submits that Lynn Spears' petition seeking that her daughter pay her legal fees must be denied. Actually, who's the undersigned? Let me see who's the undersigned. It's Matthew Rosengart. Okay, so it is him. Okay. Let's get back to this. Okay. As noted above, let me make sure I'm on here. Okay. Second big heading here. There is no, I wish he would separate his stuff. In law school, they would teach you to put this on the next page. There is no legal basis or authority supporting Lynn Spears' petition for payment from the conservatorship estate. So this is just going to be a more elaborated version of what we've already discussed about reason number one. Remember, there's 3 reasons. This is reason number 1, and he's going to go into the more profound, a more elaborated discussion. As noted above, and as this court's probate notes already provide, Lynn and her lawyers have cited no legal authority to support the position that a third party can get money from a conservatee's estate to pay attorneys hired by that third party. The fees and costs at issue cannot be foisted onto Britney Spears, who already has paid many millions for court-appointed counsel, counsel for Jamie, counsel for Jody, and others, all while very generously providing a beautiful home for her mother and paying for all associated expenses. Acknowledging that there is no legal authority in support of the petition grasps at other provisions of the probate code potentially applicable only to people other than Lynn, right? Such as a person who petitions for the appointment of a conservator. In tacit recognition of this lack of authority, the petition kind of half-heartedly cites to principles of general equity or general fairness, common fund cases, public benefit, private attorney general cases, but none of these alternative theories can actually apply. So basically, Lynn's lawyers came in and said, look, listen, even if this is what Matthew Rosengart is saying here. He's saying Lynn's lawyers kind of low-key knew that they didn't really have authority to get this money, and they really didn't have the law on their side. And look, Your Honor, I can tell they low-key knew because they're not really even relying on laws. They're relying more on, oh, look, it would be fair, or, common fund, or like it would be beneficial for the public in these cases or whatever. But Matthew said none of these alternative theories apply in Britney's case. Initially, once again, as the probate notes, and we already read, well, I'm not going to get into the probate notes today because we already did a whole video on them. So y'all go back and look at the playlist of Britney's updates. The common fund doctrine does not apply. Why? Matthew's going to tell us why. Because all funds belong to the former conservatee, Britney. Capitalized emphasis and original, underlined in bold, emphasis added. The common fund doctrine. So now he's about to go through and systematically destroy each and every one of Gladstone Jones' arguments. Number one here, the common fund doctrine is a principle that stems from class action lawsuits, is an exception to the quote American rule governing attorneys' fees in litigation. So we have this, in the United States, we have the American rule that governs attorneys' fees whenever there's a lawsuit. It doesn't apply here. There's no other beneficiary to theoretically benefit from the actions of many lawyers who have been involved in this litigation over the years, and the cases cited in the petition are inapposite. In this case, called the Estate of Stauffer, the court granted attorney's fees to the special administrator of Stauffer's estate because these attorneys recovered misappropriated assets of more than $173,000 for the estate with extraordinary litigation efforts. The court in that case invoked an equitable rule, like a fairness rule, and said they wanted to expressly require each beneficiary in that case to equally compensate counsel for court-appointed special administrator who undertook fiduciary. Okay, so what happened in this case that Matthew Rosengart is citing is that there was a special administrator. Oh, did someone? Tiffany. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I missed your super chat. Let me put up. Okay. So basically what is going on in this other case? Matthew Rosengart is doing something called relying on precedent, where you go ahead and you cite a case that already happened in court before to prove your point, right? So in that Stauffer case, there was this person who came in for the sole purpose of recovering, clawing back money that had been basically stolen from a conservatee or from a trustee, whatever the case may have been in this Stauffer case. So Matthew Rosengart saying, look, that guy recovered $173,000 in the 1950s. So that would be like, I don't know, who knows? I don't know what inflation calculates or amounts to these days, but I do know it's way more than $173,000 in today's terms, right? They put forth this fairness rule. And they said, if you were a person who got some of your money back, maybe you should pay attorney's fees. But in that case, it's a little different than Britney's case, is what Matthew Rosengart is saying. He said, administrator who undertook fiduciary litigation acting on behalf of the estate, and the court expressly observed the following: incidental encouragement of and information concerning the litigation are not equivalent. So this is what he's going to be relying on. This is the precedent. Remember how Matthew Rosengart was like, well, they didn't use any laws. They didn't use any precedent from case law. Matthew Rosengart went ahead and did go ahead and find precedent from case law. And it says, what did those judges say in the Stauffer case? Incidental encouragement of and information concerning the litigation are not equivalent to the efforts of a litigant who actually recovers property. Matthew Rosengart goes on to say, Lynn did not undertake any direct or other action resulting in funds being returned to the estate, but rather made her own decision to hire counsel for other reasons, as her petition itself observes. So what Matthew Rosengart is saying is, look, there is a law. It kind of was used in a situation before in the 1950s. This case has nothing to do with anything that happened in that law. In fact, look, the judges in that case even said, this case has nothing to do with the things that happened in that case. And in that case, the judges even said, look, listen, just generally going on to encourage litigation or like participate, that is not the same as what we decided here in this case in the 1950s. So that's what Rosengart is saying. He's saying, look, listen, maybe if Lynn would have did something, maybe if her lawyers would have filed a petition to terminate, maybe if her lawyers would have, I don't know, petitioned to appoint a different conservator, maybe if they would have gotten involved in the case in a more meaningful way, we could be having a different discussion. But as far as we're sitting here today, Matthew Rosengart says Lynn did not undertake any direct or other action resulting in funds being returned to the estate. So she didn't take any action that got money back for Britney, is what Rosengart is saying. Rather, she made her own decision. She hired lawyers for other reasons. We don't really know why, but it doesn't match up to this case. And then Matthew Rosengart goes on to cite another precedential case. And he says, similarly, In the estate of Lundell, a case involving benefit to all beneficiaries, the court allowed attorney's fees to the guardian of a minor beneficiary. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Read this wrong. A court allowed attorney's fees to go to a minor's guardian, right? Because the minor was the beneficiary, but he had a guardian, and successfully objected to the executor's attorney's fees award. So what happened in that case was there's this little kid. He's not old enough to take on the estate. So a guardian steps in and realizes that the person who's in charge of the estate is doing something wrong. And in that case, the guardian of the child actually got money back for the estate. Again, different than Lynn, different than her attorneys who didn't do anything. In stark contrast, here he's going to go on to say it. Lynn simply is an interested party. She's not a fiduciary like the administrator in Stauffer and Lundell, or even a beneficiary of the estate as contemplated by equity more generally. Her argument also fails because Britney is the only party with express rights to the estate of Britney Spears. Okay. The petition's remaining theories are equally unsupportable. So he's going to go knock down the rest of the things that Gladstone Jones put in his petition now. They conflict with one another. On one hand, the petition says Britney should pay for Lynn's lawyers as a matter of equity because Lynn hired them in an effort to help Britney bridge the gap resulting from her inability to hire her own lawyer. In other words, the petition contends that Lynn's efforts and the interest of Britney were aligned. But on the other hand, so he's going to tell us that two things don't agree with each other, okay? The first thing, look, on the one hand, they're saying Britney and Lynn are on the same team. They're on the same side. Lynn was trying to help Britney, so Britney should pay for Lynn's fees. Then Matthew goes, but that they don't keep their story straight. He says, on the other hand, the petition contends that Britney should pay for Lynn's lawyers under a private attorney general theory because the public received a benefit from. So the first thing they argued was Lynn helped Britney. The second thing they argue is she should get money because the public received a benefit. Matthew goes, okay, well, even if that's true, Lynn Spears is not in a position to avail herself of that statute because she wasn't acting as a private attorney general, nor could she have been, right? Because what was she acting as? Not a private attorney general. She was acting as a, what did they say? An interested party, right? So if you want to apply this doctrine of private attorney general theory, you have to have been acting as a private attorney general. And if you're a private attorney general, you can't be an interested party. So this couldn't work either, right? The private attorney general statute allows a successful litigant in certain circumstances that don't apply here to obtain an award of attorney's fees against an opposing party. But according to the petition, Lynn and Britney are not opposing parties. The petition stretches to fall within the parameters of the public limit benefit. So it doesn't apply to the public benefit doctrine doesn't apply. So her lawyers can't get money from that either. The notion that Britney should bear these additional legal fees would shock the conscience, if not so typical of the misplaced entitlement of those who so handsomely benefited financially from the conservatorship. So Matthew Rosengart is saying the notion alone that Lynn's lawyer should be getting paid would normally be very shocking to like the typical person, but it isn't. It's totally typical because all the other people who have felt the entitlement to Britney's money. And again, he's making a very specific and deliberate he's making a very deliberate choice here to say, look, again, I'm not saying Lynn worked with them. I'm not saying she was just as bad as them or anything like that. But what I am saying is all them that were real bad, they took all Britney's money and just ravaged her estate. But normally, if that hadn't happened already, in a case where somebody would be asking for money like this, it would be shocking. But it can't be shocking here because Jamie has already ravaged the estate for millions to pay lawyers. So, of course, it's business as usual in this case, but it should be shocking to people, is basically what Matt is saying here. Little more needs to be said about principles of equity, which actually compel the denial of the petition. This petition seeks to foist upon Britney Spears the expense of lawyers that were not hired by her or any other person authorized by statute to seek fees from the conservatorship estate. Under the petition's different theories, quite literally, any interested person who is able to hire counsel and involve himself or herself in a conservatorship proceeding can seek to shift the legal fees obligation onto the protected party by claiming that some benefit was conferred. And again, I want to be very clear that Matthew is not saying that Lynn could not possibly have gotten her fees. He's saying that based on what her lawyers didn't do, she's not entitled to fees. Like if they would have came in and said, look, this is a racket, investigate Lou Taylor, investigate the courts, hashtag end trafficking, let me get all the records, let me get all this, file a petition to terminate, work with Britney, help her get out of it, maybe we'd be singing a different tune here. But what Gladstone Jones did was basically just show up, find out information on the case, and leave. Like, I don't really know what he really did. He should have, like I said the whole time, petitioned to terminate the conservatorship, because we would be having a very different discussion right now. Maybe Lynn would have been the one to petition to end the conservatorship. Maybe Lynn and her lawyers could have been the ones to do what Matthew ultimately had to do and put in different conservators, end it, whatever. But basically, because that did not happen, her lawyers are not entitled to Britney's money. Regrettably, as a general matter, the door to mischief that would be opened by such a ruling would be expansive, extending to countless family members or innumerable categories of other interested people who never nominated or otherwise sought to appoint the termination of a conservatorship, but interjected themselves anyway nonetheless. So he's saying this would be a slippery slope. If we let Lynn's lawyers, who did not petition to terminate the conservatorship, who did not petition to appoint or remove any conservators, if we just let them come in and start taking $600,000, what is that slippery slope of a door going to open for the next case whenever that surprise witness wants to say, oh, I'm interested, pay my lawyer fees? I keep using myself as an example because I would never do this, but it gives a good example, right? Like, what's to stop, Jordan Miller, Kevin Wu, anybody, Meg, any of us from going and saying, oh, well, we were involved, so you should pay our lawyers' fees. It's just too slippery of a slope, is what Matthew Rosengart is saying. It would hold the conservatee liable for the fees of a third party who's not authorized by statute to seek fees. And that would be inequitable. That would be unfair. That wouldn't be fair. It would actually be unfair. For the reasons above, that is especially true here. From the beginning of the conservatorship and long before, Britney had paved the way for everyone who has entered the orbit of this conservatorship. Her father, her family members, her father's lawyers, and many others who have benefited from her tireless work and extraordinary talent and success. If Britney Spears, now at last a free woman, were to voluntarily agree that Lynn Spears should receive an additional payment from her, that would be her choice. Okay, so this is what Matt's saying. If Britney wants to pay Lynn to pay her lawyers, that's up to her, but the court has no authority here. The petition is entirely unsupported by law or equity and must be rejected for these reasons alone. Okay. Then we have his next argument, which is, even if there were a legal basis for the petition, and there is not, the petition is still objectionable and fails on a myriad of other grounds. So now we're going to get into the other grounds. Even if the law provided a basis for Lynn Spears to attempt to shift her financial obligations to Britney, which it does not, as we just established, the petition still would fail for a host of other reasons. And I'm sure we're about to get into those host of other reasons right now. Again, the burden is on the petitioner, on Lynn's lawyers and Lynn, as to each of the factors identified below, and the petition falls short as to each. So Matthew Rosengart is basically saying, look, listen, Lynn and her lawyers have a burden of proof, and they haven't met it. So I'm about to tell you all the things they were supposed to prove and didn't prove. Hold on, I got to drink some water. Oh, that was a sound. Okay. First, the petition does not comply with California Rules of Court 7.751 and 7.702. The petition seeks $663,000 and 84 cents in fees and costs from Britney, even with Joan Swanson's fees discounted by 40%. So they had like $1 million in fees or whatever racked up. For services ranging from top-down review of the conservatorship to pushing for a corporate fiduciary to be put in place, but there was no indication of actual specific task at issue. Among other deficiencies of their petition, the petition doesn't demonstrate the actual nature and difficulty of the tasks performed under the rules of court, which would require identification of the specific tasks. So basically, they are required to have given like specific, like how hard was it? How long did you, like what did you do exactly? Not just like top-down review, pay me. The petition also fails to describe the services rendered in sufficient detail. So there's not enough detail here to demonstrate it that the lawyers weren't just riding the clock, basically. Like, oh, I spent 200 hours on top-down review. Okay, but no. If you spent that long on something, you need to tell me what you found in the top-down review, who you emailed, what you were talking about, right? Like, what did you do? What is a top-down review? You have to give us more specifics, is what Matthew Rosengart is saying. He's saying, look, listen, all these are like just side issues. Rosengart's like, I already slammed the hammer down. There's no legal authority, and that's enough of a reason. But he's saying, here's some additional reasons. Look, they don't give enough specifics. This is nitpicky, but that's another reason to deny it. Second, the petition does not adequately demonstrate the need or clear benefit or appropriately credit Britney Spears. If the petition has a theme, it is that the efforts of Lynn Spears and her counsel achieved Lynn's mission. Okay, so they're quoting the petition where it says achieved Lynn's mission. The petition essentially credits Lynn and her counsel, so Lynn and her lawyers, with virtually every accomplishment realized by Britney Spears in this proceeding. And he's like, okay, but with all due respect to them or whatever, even putting aside that the petition ignores the efforts of the court, it minimizes the extraordinary tenacity and perseverance of Britney Spears herself, who objects to the petition. So I don't think this is like okay, listen, I stand, I'm here, I cheer, I think it's cute, but y'all know I'm a lawyer. So from a legal perspective, I'm not sure this is a strong enough reason to deny Lynn's lawyers money. I think they just wanted to get a dig in, but sometimes you have to get your digs in. And he's basically saying, I think it's real cute. Y'all don't even really mention how hard Britney had to work to free her own damn self while y'all were sitting over there trying to collect fees from her. But okay, that's basically what this paragraph is about. Okay, third, the cost of educating counsel cannot be passed on to Britney Spears. The petition states that Joan Swanson needed to educate themselves about the conservatorships and probate court rules, and thus Joan Swanson located Ginsburg Bronstein to help him get up to speed and act as local counsel. Okay, the petition doesn't specify the amount of time that he spent on this, but it does indicate that Joan Swanson Partners alone spent over $250,000 on client intake meetings communications, and they spent almost $200,000 on strategy, research, collaboration, review of documents, preparation for and attendance to meetings. And Joan Swanson spent $200,000 on correspondence, telephone calls, and emails. So once again, with respect, these are all issues that really need to be handled between Lynn and her lawyers, because I don't know what Britney has to do with any of this, is basically what Matthew is saying. So then he has a fourth reason. There is no billing detail provided, which is a fundamental omission in the petition. The petition also fails to address the duplication of efforts. Oh, okay. So basically double charging Britney. The petition offers little to no information regarding actual tasks performed, which is something that he already mentioned. No billing records or even task summaries are provided except in the broadest possible categories. And even then, there's no detail. It's also incumbent upon lawyers that they're supposed to demonstrate that fees were not duplicative or inefficient as between the two firms. But for example, okay, so duplicative or inefficient is basically like, why would you want to hire a lawyer to get caught up on the conservatorship from Joan Swanson, and then one that needs to get caught up on the conservatorship from, well, I guess this is a bad example because all lawyers do have to get caught up on a case, but like, okay, for example, like let's say you hire a financial expert and somebody is going to be your expert witness. Okay, well, you can hire them. That's the expert, but you're not, it doesn't make sense that you can go hire 5 more financial experts who all look at the same documents, all run reports, and then you're like, yeah, you have to pay for it all. It's like, no, we really probably only need one of those, right? So what Matt Rosengart is saying here is, I think they double charged for stuff that only one person needed to do. For example, you cannot discern from the petition what research was performed, what pleadings were prepared by each firm. Both firms perform these tasks, but on what subjects and matters, no one can tell. So in sum, despite their significance, the court does not need to address these issues to deny the petition, because with all due respect to Lynn and her lawyers, it is apparent from the facts and the law that Lynn may not, as a matter of law, shift her financial obligations to her own lawyers onto Britney Spears. Thus, while these other deficiencies are worthy of noting, the petition just has to be denied as a matter of law. Okay. So he's saying, look, listen, all that stuff I just told you, those little other extra reasons, 1 through 4, you should, listen to them, but we don't even have to argue about it. I just wanted to put it on the paper because the real thing we only need to argue about is there's really no case law that supports them being able to get money. I've given case law that supports them not getting money. So for those reasons alone and nothing else, just on that alone, you should deny this fee petition, and you should let Britney go on with her life without paying Lynn's lawyers, basically. Okay. And then he puts it in his, legalese. For all these reasons and those on the record, the petition is objectionable in its entirety and must be denied entirely as a matter of law. So he's not saying as a matter of fairness, equity, common fund, public interest. No, as a matter of law, case law, it has to be denied. Britney Spears respectfully requests that the court enter an order denying Lynn's petition and granting Britney such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. Okay, so that was filed yesterday. And I think that's it. Yep. Oh, wait a second. Eric Adler, attorneys for I thought Eric Adler was Jamie Spears' lawyer. But Eric Adler, who'd they send this to? Lorianne, Gladstone, Yasha, Geraldine, Vivian, Alex. So they did not put Sam Ingham on the list. That's one thing I was wondering, if they were going to add Sam Ingham to the list of people who gets papers filed in this case. Okay, so that is basically what, oh, Sylvia, thank you for the super chat. Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, thank you, Mona Larson, for the super sticker. Okay. So thank you, Sylvia, and thank you, Mona. So Lovi has a question. I'm a little confused by everything. Is Zabel still a conservator? When the termination petition was filed, Zabel wasn't appointed yet, and that termination petition was granted that didn't mention Zabel. So good question, Lovi. I think from what I can tell, there's no conservatorship. And there is no conservator. So Zabel is not the conservator, and there's no conservator because there's no conservatorship. I think when a conservatorship ends, automatically, like the conservator is not conservator anymore. That's my understanding. Okay. Lynn didn't even need a lawyer. It feels like this whole thing is a scam. Yeah, so I think we should find out today. I'll go into the court thing and see. Give me a second. I'll pull up the court website and we can look at it. Okay. Oh, I don't need images. I want so this is how you would look it up if you wanted to look it up. Go to online services. Probate is the court where hers is. and you can go to case access. You can also go to case calendar. You can go to case probate notes. Okay, look. So yeah, it should be today at 1:30. So 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. And it is going to be, the hearing on this particular matter. Again, I do anticipate that this will be denied. And the reason is because what it says in the probate notes. So I can look it up here. Probate notes as of petitioners neither. This is what the probate court had said. Okay. And we've done a video on this already, so I'm not going to do the whole video, but that's why I think it'll be denied. Thank you so much, Matt. Looking forward to the Hillsong video. Oh, wow. You went when it was Hills Christian Life Center. Also, if y'all want to see the document that I did read today, it is in the Google Drive. It's linked below in the description box. I'll also link my new channel down there so y'all can follow it from there. New video coming out tomorrow, debut premiere video on Hillsong. So I just want to also tell y'all a little bit about what that whole channel is. I didn't want to waste time up front because I knew people were here for that filing. The filing's done. If you're here for that, you can leave. But I wanted to tell y'all the reason behind that channel is that for the last 2 years, I have spent thousands of hours researching Britney's court case. I have spent thousands of hours researching all the players involved in Britney's life and all these different corporate entities and connections. Now, when she was in a conservatorship, my number one goal was getting her out of the conservatorship. So there would be things like reading this document, right? Like I would have to come out and tell stuff immediately. And I felt like my time was better used freeing Britney. But I have thousands of hours worth of research on all these kind of sort of related things that aren't necessarily freeing Britney. Hillsong and Mercy Ministries are a big one, right? UCLA Medical Center is another one. I have stuff on all kinds of bands, all kinds of famous people, other famous conservatorships. And so I'm going to be working together with Jake. We started the channel BJ Investigates, and we are going to be putting that research into more of documentary style expose videos and less hey y'all, let me walk you through how I do my research. But I will still be on this channel doing exactly what I've been doing over here. That's just another channel to kind of get the word out about things that I found in my investigations. That's why it's called BJ Investigates. So most things that are going to be on that channel are stuff that I've already mostly done all my research on, and it's just getting it out into videos. So Yoon said, I thought Matt said in court that he would work something out with Lynn behind closed doors. What happened with that? I have no idea. I don't actually even remember him saying that. That might have been said. I just missed it. Yeah, UCLA is so messed up. Can't wait. She's lost access to, hold on, let me see. Why didn't Lynn just call her daughter and say, I'm so sorry. I didn't do right by you. Please forgive me and help me. I don't know. I mean, what I really believe and truly think in my heart is probably Lynn did try to reach out to Britney, and it was just too late for Britney, and she had already made her mind up. We also don't know what fully has happened. I don't know about their relationship. I don't know. Who knows? Really, I don't know. But it's a good question. And I don't know. I mean, really, I don't know. I have no particular insight into the situation, but I just feel like I want Britney to, I always say this, and it's clear now based on Britney's recent Instagram posts, she's not in a place where she wants to rekindle with her mom. But I always hold out hope that at least Britney and her mom might make up. But again, I say that saying full well, Britney knows stuff I don't know. Okay. They know stuff I don't know. I am nobody. I have no idea. And so I kind of just try to stay out of commenting on that. But I do think it would be nice if Britney had at least one family member she didn't hate. And I don't think it's going to hate Lynn. But again, Britney's choice, totally her choice. I mean, I just want her to be recovering and healing in the way that she feels is authentic to her. That one time Gladstone said it was pro bono. Where did he say that? Oh my God. He said it was pro bono. Where? Can I drop the link to BJ Investigates? Yeah, I'm gonna text it. Monica, can I text it to you and you put it in the chat? Because I only have it on my phone. The link to the new channel. Yes, I'll put it in the chat. Give me a second. There's no videos. Well, there is a video uploaded on there yet, but it's going to be like, more about this channel, but it's going to be premiering tomorrow. So it's not up yet, but, oh, okay. So Monica said she's been dropping the link to the new channel. I think Lynn reached out too, but Britney realizes her mother abandoned her to her father, and now Britney fought her own way without Lynn and just wants to be there again. Yeah. Britney has helped her entire family, her entire life. They couldn't even help her when they imprisoned her. She owes them no favors in her help. She's already forgiven them, and that was what she owed. Can I do a timeline and summary on BAM? Yeah, like now, or I mean, the thing with BAM is real weird. I got a video coming out on that soon also. But oh, you have a kidney stone or something. Basically what happened with BAM was in May 2021, Jeff Tremaine, well, let's rewind. Basically what happened with BAM was he was approached. Thank you so much, Operation Ivy. I'll get your question in one moment. BAM was approached by Jackass to do the Jackass 4 movie. And in like 2019 or 2020, he was on board to do it. But something happened where he ended up in rehab. When that happened, Johnny Knoxville, Spike Jonze, and Jeff Tremaine went to the rehab facility in 2019 where BAM was staying. And according to lawsuit papers that were filed under penalty of perjury, those three, Johnny Knoxville, Jeff Tremaine, and Spike Jonze, basically forced BAM to sign this contract called a wellness agreement. In the wellness agreement, there was a bunch of things that BAM had to agree to do. Random drug tests every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, breathalyzers, blood, all of it. He had to FaceTime with a doctor that was hired by Paramount and MTV, and he had to take whatever medications were prescribed to him by that doctor on FaceTime. And he agreed to do it because they said, you have to sign it this way. You don't have a choice. We're not negotiating. And if you don't, you're not going to ever be in the movies again. Now, that's what BAM said happened in 2019. So 2020 rolls around. BAM tests positive for Adderall, which he is legally prescribed and was taking as prescribed. And he gets fired in 2020 from the Jackass movies. He starts freaking out because I would too, right? Like, how is your boss going to tell you have to take a certain medicine or whatever? So during the time all that happens, March 2022, March 2020, then May rolls around and Jeff Tremaine is pretending like or acting like BAM Margera is threatening him and his kids, files a restraining order in Los Angeles. The next month in June, in Maricopa County, Arizona, BAM is being put into court-ordered treatment after the circumstances are misleading. Confusing. I'm not really sure what happened, but according to BAM, he was assaulted and called the police. And when the police showed up, they just stuck him in court-ordered treatment. I wasn't there. I don't know, but he was in a court-ordered inpatient program in Arizona from June until September 2021. In the time that he was in that court-ordered treatment, though, he sued MTV Paramount for being fired in Jackass, and he was released from the court-ordered treatment. But he flies to Florida after having been in a court-ordered treatment, not seeing his family for half a year. He's going to meet his family in Florida, Pinellas County or Clearwater in Florida for a vacation. He's in the hotel room waiting for his family, and the cops show up to take him to a conservatorship that had been established in September. So what it looks like is going on to me is Paramount and MTV and whoever they can get to work with them do not want BAM Margera to sue them, do not want to deal with BAM Margera, and so he's been put away against his will. Now, if you listen, as of December 2021, BAM's friends, Novak and Steve-O, were on the podcast talking about how Wild Boy podcast or whatever, talking about the Steve-O's Wild Ride, how it's a good thing Bam doesn't have his phone, how it's a good thing he's being forced into treatment. It's a whole thing. So another thing that happened during all that timeline is the day after that conservatorship was filed in Florida, like that second court-ordered thing, the day after that was filed in Florida, Nicole Boyd Margera, who is Bam's estranged wife that he's been known to say he wants to divorce, she filed for custody and child support, but not divorce. The day after they filed for Bam to be in a conservatorship in Florida, she filed for child custody and child support money from Bam the next day across the country in LA, probably knowing he wasn't going to be able to show up and defend himself or whatever. So that's the timeline with that. I'm working on a whole video. If that was very confusing to you, like I have many videos coming out on this because we just keep finding stuff. But that's the brief timeline. Restraining order in May 2021, court-ordered treatment in Arizona, June 2021. Then he sues them August 2021 and is released from the court-ordered treatment in Arizona. But then September 14th, 2021, another conservatorship is ordered in Pinellas County, where he was lured 2 weeks later, lied to and set up. Now he still remains in Tranquil Shores in a conservatorship according to court documents. Now, I don't know what's going on as far as his freedoms and his rights, but I would like to hear from him, and I would like for his constitutional rights and liberties to be restored to him. I would like for him to be able to use his phone, because if he can't use his phone, do y'all think he can access his money? Let me ask you a question. If he can't use his phone, do y'all think he can access his money? Just answer that question. Okay. Tranquil Shores. Yes. He is one county over now. They don't want to believe it, but we're going to have them believe it. He is in Florida. His family's been in Florida. Lima Yevremovich has been hanging out with his family. Lima Yevremovich, if y'all are here still hanging on for the Bam stuff, I ended up, well, not I. Actually, someone sent this to me. A couple of people sent me different screenshots, but they're actually pictures of Nicole Boyd Margera, who's Bam's estranged wife, like buddying up, cozying up to the program director of ARA, like months before Bam's conservatorship. So let me see if I can find it. Y'all, I have so many screenshots. Okay, so look at this. This is from Nicole Boyd Margera's Instagram a year ago, April 2021. Albert Monero Jr., #family. Now that man, this was April. That's when Lima was tagging Nikki and Bam in her thing. That's when Amanda, the month before Amanda died and under Lima's care and all that. Albert Monero is the one who helped to dump ashes into the ocean. Albert Monero Jr. is the program director at ARA who helped dispose of Amanda's ashes in broad daylight on Venice Beach with her dad. That's the same guy. It's the same guy who helped to dump Amanda's ashes, and Nikki Margera just a month before that, like hanging out, #family. I don't know. I need to get my nails done. Sorry. But anyway, I don't know. All we know is we're on the investigation trail, and we will be doing something about it real soon. I do want to bring y'all's attention to the fact I've got word that we may have a petition started for Amanda, and it's going to ask to put an investigation on the circumstances surrounding Amanda's death, because thanks to the BJ investigation squad, we do have Amanda's autopsy report. I don't want to show the whole thing because I do want to respect some of her privacy, but it is publicly available information. You can request it yourself. But look, don't y'all remember that Lima was talking about, oh, the only thing in her system was Tylenol. Well, look at all this stuff that was in her system. Y'all can see my notes. Only Tylenol my ass. So we're looking into it, but honestly, who really needs to be looking into it at this point is the police, because I believe that they should launch a criminal investigation. I don't know. Somebody said they might be starting a petition. We'll see. If someone starts a petition, I will definitely share it. And if someone does start a petition for an investigation into Amanda's death, please do be willing to sign it, and I will post it and I will blast it and all that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess it's been like, an hour. I try to keep these to an hour. I'm going to be doing more investigating. I just needed to stop in and read this document, y'all. Oh my God, Amber essay. Oh, that's my mom. Facts ain't defamation. Thanks, Mom. So yeah, I will be working on this all day. I will be working on other things all day. Me and Jake have a ton of things in the works. I'll put the link for the new channel in the description box below and make sure that y'all are there for the premiere tomorrow if I don't see you before then. Facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.